Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Casting Lots Board Gaming. Today we're going to do the epic space adventure ISS Vanguard. This is a large box. This is up there with the Gloomhaven box. In fact, I think it's not as tall, but I think it's as wide or a little bit wider than the Gloomhaven box. So as you can see, it's a big old huge box. Really cool space epic adventure thing. I picked this up I think it's been about a year ago. And, the space theme, as you guys already know, the space theme is something that really interests me. And this has a really cool, it's almost like a Star Trek feel to it. And it had, I don't know if you guys play video games, but the Mass Effect series, it kind of gives me Mass Effect vibes, which I really like. It's kind of it's not all just, super crazy combat with laser guns and all this stuff. It's got a lot of quieter moments and a good story. And this has a really cool, completely voice acted app that you can use that goes through all the logs. So there's a logbook that goes with the game here. It's got your logbook, and this is the paper log. So as you go through, it kind of works like a choose your own adventure. To a certain extent, it'll say if you choose this, go to this log, and then it has all these voice acted logs in the app. But you don't have to use that. You can use this if you want. Which honestly, I've ran into a couple of discrepancies with the digital log, so I use this along with that, and basically just use the digital one for the voice acting, and then this one I'll go through. So anyway, this is ISS Vanguard. It's a big game. It takes up a lot of table space. This is a typical play session here with two classes. You have 4 different sections. You have the recon team, the security team, the science team, and the engineering team. And each one has strengths and weaknesses. And as you play through, you'll be able to level these guys up. Each one has specific. You'll have specific characters that you use. And which I don't actually have any set out right now. I'll show you. So if you had some here, you have these guys, and these all have these sleeves that when you recruit the character, it'll have this sleeve that it goes in here. This shows that it's in the recon team and it's rank 1. And that character's card will go down in that sleeve to show what section they're in. So you can see we have different sections. We have 2 recons, we have an engineering, we have 2 security, and then we have a science team person here. And the artwork is really cool. I really like the artwork for these cards. So anyways, if you're playing, you'll have your, engineering person there, and then you might have your recon team here. So as you play, these will be you can only take one character for each section as you play, and you can play with a minimum of 2 up to 4. So I've been playing this mostly solo, so I normally take 2 sections with me. You can take 4, but really, I mean, if you played the game, you understand that you have supplies and things like that you have to use, which I don't even have set out, honestly. So here's the away ship that you'll be taking down to the planet. So yeah, you'll have supplies and things that you use, and there's a supplies track. So the more characters you have, the more you're going to be needing to use those supplies. So you're going to be running out of supplies faster. But the trade-off is that when you're using 2, you have the potential to rank up only these 2. But when you're playing with 4, you have the potential to rank up all 4 players. So there's going to be 3 ranks for these for each individual character. And like I said, it's denoted by the little rank 1 symbol right here. And you get down, like, say, this one, Elena Rubio, she's a rank 2. So she has proven herself on the battlefield and gotten up to rank 2 in the security team. So there is room for improvement with your characters. Now, this is a dice-based game, but there's 2 major phases, I would call it, for the game. You have your planet exploration phase, is what they call it, and that's where you'll be actually down. So this is the Planetopedia, and it's got a lot of pages here, and each one is for a specific planet. And the way the planet exploration works is, you'll have this book out here, and this acts as the surface of the planet. So there's different places that your characters can travel to and do different things. And sometimes when you travel, you'll have to use there's different actions that you might have to take in order to travel. Some of them require you to spend a dice, as is this little symbol right here. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it's the little symbol right here, shows that you actually have to spend one of your dice. So you would put that over into your spent pool, and that dice would be unavailable to you for the moment. So the planet exploration is, here when you're actually doing things, you're making discoveries. And all these cards up here are different types of discoveries. You have mineral, you have microorganism, strange flora, alien tech, and live specimen discoveries. So those are things that you're going to be discovering on the different planets. And what you're going to be doing is you'll gain leads, which this is a little grab bag of lead tokens here. And some of them say +1, +0. Some of them will give you an extra charge for your character's special ability. So there's all these different things, and it'll tell you, sometimes it'll say, gain 2 mineral discoveries. So you'll draw 2 random tokens out of that bag. And if you get 3 total on a specific stack, you actually get to turn over that card and you've gained that discovery on that planet. So you'll be trying to gain discoveries, you'll be getting new resources, you'll be upgrading things. So that's the planetary phase where you're actually exploring. And then the other phase, if I can do this without messing everything up, is your ship phase. So that's going to be this ship book here, which is really cool artwork. It's got this ship book. And then what happens here is it'll go through and it gives you the instructions as you go through, which is nice. So it'll say resuming a saved game. You'll start there. You go through, you go to the bridge. You have all these bridge upgrade tokens, the objective that you're currently working on, a secondary objective if you have one, your tech level, which is going to give you, depending on your tech level, you'll get a certain number of the power tokens for each ship phase to be able to do things. So that's basically going to be traveling in between systems. It's going to be, visiting planets, making discoveries while you're actually on the ship out in space. And then your morale card here, and then you have all your upgrades, which you can research in the research laboratory. You can research these upgrades to improve your ship. And this is the same thing here. These are bridge upgrades. And then you have your star map section and this is going to be actually where you open up your star map, which I'll go through in order, I guess, your system maps. And it has a map of each planet or each system and what all you can do on that system. So it's got these different points of interest here. If it has a ship icon, that's something that you can actually land on. The other ones aren't actually, in other words, the ship icon denotes one of the pages in this. Now these other ones, you can land on them, but it's not actually a mission. You just go down and get some information. So you go through, there's all these different ones. I'm not going to go in and, ruin it for you. But, and then it has a little deal here to mark what system you're currently in. So this is the system that I'm in on my playthrough. Now, I'll tell you this, I haven't beaten this. I tend to take games like this really slow and just kind of enjoy it as I go. It's not something that I want to rush through, but it is a lot of fun. So this is the star map section. And then you have the ship facilities. So here, the ship facilities, you'll see you can actually go to the barracks, which is recruiting more of the crew members. You can go to the situation room, which will be solving basically little small puzzles and situations that happen on the ship. Like I think one of them is like claustrophobia. Some of the crew members are tired of being on the ship, so you actually have to spend a token, which I think it's called a command token, to go to the situation room and basically resolve that situation before it gets out of hand. And then you have the research laboratory where you can do new research projects. Then you have the production complex, which is where you'll be researching. It's like an engineering thing where you'll research different equipment. You'll be able to upgrade your equipment, gain new equipment to use on missions. And then this is one that you don't get until you get further in the story. So like I said, as you go through, it's really neat because you just go through each individual page and kind of go through. And this is the ship phase, which is actually my favorite part of the game. The planetary exploration is fun, but it's not near. I like stuff like this. I like going through my ship and researching and checking out my crew members and seeing if they can rank up and all these cool things, research projects. So this is your research laboratory where you actually have your research projects you're working on. I'm not going to go read all of these because I don't want to give anything away. This is the production complex where you're producing new tools, new equipment, new weapons, new gear for your crew for the planetary explorations. And then we have the barracks, which is where you'll go and you'll recruit. So I don't want to pull the whole thing out, but well, I'll show you. I don't want to pull the whole thing out. So you have let me show you the amount there is here. So these are the available crew to recruit. So this is a lot of cards here. This is a lot of stuff. And each one of them has a backstory. They have an expertise. They have, it shows their name. And then on the front here, it shows, each individual character. It has, they each have a specific thing that they focus on that they're good at. See, this guy is a soldier. She is well-trained is what it's called. But each one has this specific, has all these cool, abilities and things. So when you go to the barracks, you'll actually be recruiting a number of those characters and then choosing which ones you want to add into your sections. So, and then you have the situation room like I talked about. This is where I am currently, so I'm going to take that out. This is the hangar, so where when you've decided a planet that you're going to land on or a mission you're going to undertake, you'd go to the hangar. And you get to choose, I don't know if you can see it here, but I have these two available, these two landers. So you can choose one of these landers. Each one has strengths and weaknesses. They have like a navigational number and then a agility number and then a defense number. So you might face hazards. You may or may not face hazards landing on a planet. So that's something that you want to take into account. It has this cool awaiting envelope, and that's what I have here. And this awaiting envelope is what you use whenever you are done playing with your play session. It'll tell you when you clean up, you basically just put everything inside this envelope, and that will show you, it'll kind of give you an idea of where you were when you go to play next time. So that's the awaiting envelope. And then you have, this is mods for your landers. So you'll have all these different mods that you can use on the landers to help with various situations. Then it gives you mission launch procedures. And I know this is a lot, but once you do this once or twice, you're going to pretty much know the order to do things. You're not going to have to go down and read every single paragraph of this every time you play. And then it tells you begin planetary exploration. Then you do your exploration. When you get to a point where you're finished with your mission or you decide to lift off, then you would go to leaving the planet and you would move on from there. You have docking procedures, debriefing procedures, and then unloading. And this is where you'll unload all the different discoveries and things that you found on the planet. You'll actually unload them into your main ship. So, and then you have, last but not least, medbay. So this is where people who are injured on the planet, so your characters can receive injuries doing various dangerous activities on a planet. And these are medbay upgrades here to help with healing and treating the wounded. Well, I'll say last but not least, this is last. So this is the memorial wall. This is your crew members who have died in battle or in various situations. They'll go here. And what I really like is each one, whenever they go to this memorial, you take the card out and you put them in here, which is really cool because each one gives you a bonus depending on where you put them. This one lets you gain 3, power tokens for use in the ship phase. So as your characters die, which it's going to happen, you're going to go here and they're going to put them in here. And depending on which slot they go into, number 1 goes here and then the next one would go in here and the next one would go in here. And it'll give you different bonuses and things. And it's kind of cool to be able to see your crew members that have passed away like a memorial, And then it gives you the save point option here. So I'm going to go back and put my awaiting folder where it was, which I think was here. So like I said, I really like the ship phase because it's kind of I don't know if you've played XCOM, the game, the video game, but it gives me a lot of XCOM vibes of managing the ship. You can go through and hire crew members and see what level they are and, discover various, new weapons, new gear, new tools and things like that to help you on your missions. So that's a really cool part of this game, and it's my favorite part of this game is the ship phase. So we'll get into the review here. So let's see, we got quality. the quality is high. This is good quality stuff. I mean, these crew boards here are a really thick. They're a very thick cardboard, and they have the cutout slots here for the dice, so that way your dice sit in there and don't slide off everywhere. And the card quality is really good. It's high, and it, like I said, it comes with these cool sleeves. So as your characters get recruited, they'll go into these sleeves, and obviously they're sleeved. As you guys know, I don't sleeve my stuff, but this one comes with the sleeve, so it's cool, and it serves two purposes because it shows you what section they're in. So quality's good. There are the section cards for each section. They have these cards here, and these will give basically special abilities. So what you'll do is at the beginning of the exploration, you'll shuffle these up, and you draw a number according to what rank your crew member is. So I would draw 2, and then these are things that I can use. This is acrobatics. It allows me to do certain things, and this is respite, which allows you to re-roll a certain dice or refresh a dice. So you have all these, and these are individual sections. So this is the recon cards, and you'll actually choose these when you before you start the mission. When you're in the preparation phase, you'll be able to choose the characters. You'll choose what dice you're going to take. You'll choose what cards to take, and then you'll choose. There's a number of different equipment, which I'm not going to go into all those because I don't want to ruin it for you, because it is exciting to discover new equipment as you research it. So as you can see here, there's a lot of dice for each crew member. They're going to have these number of dice, and this acts like this is their actions, but it also acts as like a stamina of sorts, because as you use these, now say I need to roll these 3 here, so I would roll these, use whatever results pop up, and then whether I use them or not, they're going to go into the spent pool. So they're going to go over here, and you can't use those. So now the next time I go to roll dice, I'll have to use from these available ones here. So it gives you a little bit of a strategy to where you can roll a bunch of dice and go, man, okay, I'm going to roll all these dice and know that I'm going to be able to complete whatever action I'm trying to complete. Or you can kind of take a gamble and go, okay, I'm just going to roll 2 and hope that I can get it. And sometimes you don't. Sometimes you might roll this right here, which is an accident symbol. And a lot of times this will be a negative situation on the a specific point of the planet. So I'm going to show you these points of interest. Well, this one is nothing interesting. But there's different points of interest. Let me pull up a different one. Desert, that's not going to work. I'll grab something else. Okay, we got treacherous campsite. So this one, it'll show you, if you make camp, it does these various actions here. And then if you roll this symbol, which is the little biology symbol, it says you or an assisting crew member discard 1 injury die. So that's a good thing. And if you roll the Vanguard symbol, it says you or an assisting crew member draw 1 section card. So that's these cards here. So these things can do various things as you play. And there are in each individual site, so you're going to start, if you can see here, you got your characters, and they'll start in a specific place. They'll move along, and as they go, they'll read logs, they'll discover new areas and things like that. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Back to quality. So quality is wonderful. It's great. Everything seems pretty good, even down to these small cards here. These are your discovery cards. I mean, they're well built. They're not cheapo little cards. They feel good. They seem like they're going to hold up pretty well. And because this is not a deck building game, you're not going to be shuffling these 100 times every time you play. You're basically just going to shuffle them up, and that's good for the whole playthrough. But the quality is good, even down to the little miniatures, which are not painted when you get them. I do not like gray miniatures, so I like to paint mine. But here's my this is my one of my security guys, and this is one of my recon guys, which I thought he kind of looks like Star-Lord from Guardians of the Galaxy. Anyways, I painted these. I kind of did them color-coded, because the blue is for security, and then there's a pinkish red for the recon team. I'll show you some of the other ones. The quality is good, though. Even these little miniatures here. This is the engineering, one of the engineering people. And this, if I can get it out, is one of the science team. So they've got the little robotic arm thing, and they're discovering some kind of plant here. And again, I color coded them when I painted them. They're not the best. I'm not, you know, a master painter when it comes to miniatures. This is the actual ship, the Vanguard. So this is the large ship that you fly around from solar system to solar system on. And then the smaller lander, which would be in this case, the Space Ranger, is the one that you actually depart from this in and land on the planet. So the miniatures are cool though. Like I said, the quality of everything is good. It's nothing that, it seems like it's going to last a long time, so that's all you can ask for. So I'd definitely call it high quality. Complexity, I would say medium. It's by no means low. I mean, the complexity of the setup alone is a pretty good amount. This is a large table, and I know you can't see it, but over here is two, so there's a thing here, a card tray here, and this has got your equipment, your unavailable equipment that you haven't discovered yet. And then your crew, when you're resting crew, when they get tired, they go in here. These are your recruits. And then these are various things for your landing cards, your planets that you've landed on, upgrades, situations, gathered discoveries. And these are things that you can use later on. And then these are cards that have actually been removed from the game because of some situation or the fact that I completed the research or whatever. Now this is going to go into replayability, I guess. But this is points of interest. All these cards here. So that's a lot of points of interest. I mean, this goes up to 444, 521. So there's a lot of points of interest. And these cards are going to be the ones that are going to go down. So say you solve this area here, it might tell you place points of POI card, whatever number, on top of that. So now this turns into the next POI, and there'll be some other objective that you can do at this location. This has got your various unique discoveries. It's got rank up cards, which are going to be basically objectives that you can complete throughout the mission that allow your crew members to rank up. It's got all these different injuries. So there's burned injuries. We got exhausted injury. We got wounded injury. So there's all these different injuries you can get, which is obviously not a good thing. And then you have your section boxes over here. These are all out of sight. That's why I was showing you guys. So this is the section boxes. They're color coded, and they'll have your dice. When you get done with your dice, you'll put them in here, and it's got the little sleeves in the back for that section, and then it's got all your section cards. So there's lots of stuff, but complexity, like I said, I'm still going to call it medium because it's kind of straightforward things. It's a lot of decision making, which I do like, but the complexity is something that I don't know if, because of the length, and it plays kind of slow sometimes. So I think maybe younger players might get a little bored. You know, I would maybe say complexity if you're trying to get somebody who's I would say maybe 12 to 14 plus, as long as they're interested in the space theme. If they don't like space stuff, they're probably not going to like this. But I think that, you know, it's possible for a 12-year-old to maybe get into this, and, you know, as long as they kind of get into the vibe. And that's something that I tell people about this game too, is when you get into it, you get to know your characters. Like somebody might have been through, you know, a specifically difficult situation, and they might have rolled great and made it through. And that's going to stick in your mind, and that's going to make you remember that character. And I really like that, how the characters grow, and you can, you know, they become memorable to you. So, you know, complexity is medium. You know, there's dice rolling, there's cards usage and things like that, but I wouldn't call it's not Mage Knight, you know. But anyways, complexity is medium. I would say replayability is going to be a medium as well. And the reason why I say medium is because there is a story here. There's a main story that you go through. I think it can vary. Again, I haven't beat the game, so I don't know, but I think it can vary slightly according to some decisions that you make, but it's generally the same concept across the board. But there is a story, and so when you go back through, you're going to have the fact that you know is what's going to happen or what's coming up. That does knock down the replayability a little bit. But that's not to say this game is pretty long, and I think by the time I complete it, I think it would be completely feasible for me to go back, start it over. Obviously, when you start over, you're going to have different crew members you're gaining. You're going to be rolling, you know, the dice are going to be different. The section cards are all the same, but you can choose different section cards when you go. And, but as far as the planetary explorations of things, these are all going to be the same. You are going to get different discoveries because those are all shuffled whenever you play. And something else I forgot to mention, which is not a huge deal, but the event cards here. So whenever you're done with your turn, you will draw an event card, and this will give you some situation. Most of the time it's something not good, but occasionally you get something good out of the event cards. So replayability, like I said, medium. It's something that I would play it again. And it's simply because I just really enjoy the type of gameplay where it's kind of finicky, and I like that. We're you're little, okay, let me go to the ship log and see what this says, and let me go to the engineering bay and figure out what kind of tool I'm gonna discover next or whatever. So some people might like that, some people might not. The rating, as far as the Christian rating goes, I would give it a PG. There's nothing. There's battle, but the battle is not what you think it would be. It's not even dice rolling. Well, it is dice rolling, but it's not shooting and things exploding everywhere. There are some things in there that denotes battle between specific characters or specific creatures and things like that. But the battle is on the low end on this game. This is more about exploration and upkeep with your crew and your ship and things like that. So I do want to point out, and I don't think it's a huge deal, but there's some of these characters, so it gives you the backstory on the back. There are a couple of gay characters in there, but it's not like super into detail. It just talks about like so-and-so's wife, she lost her wife back on Earth, so decided to join the ISS Vanguard crew. So it's not, it's nothing that honestly, I read the flavor text, but it's not something that I go focus on. But you can't go into anything in daily modern life today without you watch TV and you're going to see, if you see 20 commercials, 10 of them are going to be about something that's not Christian like. So that's just something that you have to deal with. There are a couple where they call them they, which honestly, the ones that they call they are like people with helmets on, and I honestly can't tell what their sex is anyways. So it's almost like they're saying it from a distance, like that person, they don't know, they don't know what they are. But other than that, it's nothing crazy. I still think this is completely, any Christian household is definitely able to play this with no problems. I don't see anything that's really out of the ordinary that would be off-putting. The score, I'm going to give it an 8.5. This is an exceptionally good game. It's on my table a lot. I enjoy it. Like I said, I do enjoy the little nitpicky stuff, deciding what mods are going to go on your lander, deciding what cards and what equipment you're going to take for each crew member, deciding what crew members to take is a big one as well. So there's all kinds of things. It's a lot of fun. It's micromanaging. If that's not something you like to do, then I would say this game might not be for you. But still, give it a chance. If you have somebody if you know somebody that has the game, sit down and play a session with them. You can join in, like I said, and if you're playing two people, I play solo, so I got these two here that I'm controlling. But if you're playing multiplayer, like with another person, they might be controlling one and you might be controlling one. Or if you want to control two each, you can do that, 2 sections each. So I play 2 because that's the minimum, and I enjoy just having 2 because I'm not a big fan of multi 3 and 4 hand playthroughs. So it is a lot of fun. 8.5 out of 10. I'm trying to think of anything else I might have missed. They have these cool standees for the different creatures that you might be fighting, different bosses and different ships and things like that. And I'm not going to get into it, but there's threats on certain planets that might require you to pull out one of these threat cards, and they might do certain things without, giving away too many spoilers here. There's the threats will be, like I'm going to use one example. It's like a dust tornado or something, and this dust tornado will move around, and it can damage your crew members or cause them to lose dice whenever that dust storm gets to certain areas on the board. But ISS Vanguard, it's a great game. Another thing I want to go over. So I have the when I got it, I got the personnel files expansion, which all this is it gives you an extra card for each character that the base game comes with, and it's basically an upgraded artwork of the character with a little bit more backstory on the back, and it has a special ability. So the way the instructions tell you to do it is when you get to level 2 with that, or rank 2 with that character, you pull that other card out, and it has some kind of a objective that you have to complete on that card. And once you complete that objective, immediately you flip it and you replace the old card with the new upgraded card, and that'll basically give them that ability immediately. But there's a flavor text with a little logbook that goes along with it. When I was looking at reviews for the game, it told me a lot of people were saying to get the personnel files because it's a cheap expansion and it adds a lot of depth to the individual characters, which I like. I like getting into the characters and figuring out people's backstories, and you know, like I said, you end up getting attached to people, kind of like XCOM. Like I said, if you've played XCOM, the video game, you get attached to a certain character, and then if that character dies, they're dead for forever. Like if these characters die, they're dead for the rest of the campaign. So they're not going to come back unless you completely restart the campaign. So that's fun for me because it makes you pay attention. You're not just running out blind into the planet. You know, you're going to think about what you're doing. Okay, I only have one supply left. Do I want to go try to get this last discovery, or do I want to make my way back to the ship to take off so that way I don't lose my character? So, and that's something that can influence your decisions, because it is, now it's not hard. The game's it's not difficult, but it is a lot. There's a lot of things that pop up like that where I have to think, okay, do I really want to take this risk, or do I want to just play the safe route and go back to the ship? So it's a lot of fun. But yeah, ISS Vanguard is a 8.5 out of 10. And this has been another board game review and overview by Casting Lots Board Gaming. We'll see you next time. God bless.